Today I'm reviewing an 8-inch chef knife by the company We Love Cooking. You can get these on Amazon for under $25. And any chef will tell you that a good set of sharp knives is one of the most important tools to have in the kitchen. I'm not a chef, but I do my fair share of cooking, and I've used my fair share of good knives and dull knives. And let me tell you, there is nothing worse than trying to cut any kind of vegetables with a dull chef knife. It is not only dangerous, it's almost maddening. And this one here, it is made out of a high carbon, high chromium steel. This 7CR17 MOV steel, that's actually a common Chinese steel. They use it to make like high-speed drill bits. That's their version of a really good high-quality steel. I have seen this used on various other things before. So it should hold its edge pretty good. And when it comes to a good chef's knife, you want a knife that holds its edge pretty good, and almost the most important thing is how it feels in your hand, how it balances. You want a knife that does have a finger guard, and you want to be able to put your finger up in there, and you want to be able to almost like balance it on that point. This knife does pretty good. It does tend to come forward a little bit, and that's kind of good. It'll help you get down into your food. It does have a wooden riveted handle. I don't like the ones that are made of like solid metal. They feel cold in the hand. They're a little bit slippery. Wood seems to be a really ideal choice for a handle. It's lightweight, and it's got some texture to it that just works in the hand. And that's really important. So in terms of shape, I like the finger guard. I think it's balanced fairly well. That cut didn't come from this knife. I was actually running some metallic sheath conduit and cut myself on that. But that's the kind of cut or worse you can get from using a dull kitchen knife or a dull chef's knife. So let's do an up-close look here at the machining and the edges and all that first, and then I'll get into a cooking demonstration here. So let's do an up-close look, non-macro first, and show you the machining quality here. The only thing I could find that's wrong here is you got this little place there where it's not quite straight. And most of the time you're using the front of the blade anyway, so you're not cutting down there. But there are those times when you're cutting something really big and you want to be able to just rock down and make complete contact with the edge of the blade there. And so I'm going to call that a manufacturing defect, because that should be perfectly straight. There shouldn't be a gap there. And I'll demonstrate that here in a minute. Other than that, the machining is fairly good. Couldn't find really any other big issues except for the kind of quality you get in an under $25 knife. It's a little rough around the edges, but the blade is 100% except for right there. So everything else is, there's a couple spots where you can see the grind marks where it's not quite 100%, but you're going to see that in any $25 knife. And it's all smooth. It's all ground down pretty good. I'm going to have to give the machine work and the overall, grind and finish quality a 3.5 out of 5. To me, it's not how it looks, it's how it feels in the hand and how it cuts. Let's go ahead and do a macro lens view of the blade. And bear with me, it takes a minute to get this shot set up. Alright, there you can see the grind marks on the steel. And you can tell because the grind marks are perpendicular that it was not hand stone sharpened at the end. So I would recommend, there's little bits of my test zucchini on there, actually, you can see. With any new chef knife, I would recommend go ahead and having someone professionally sharpening it, or going ahead and sharpen it yourself with a whetstone within the first week of getting it. That blade is perfectly good and it's uniform. It's a nice straight line. No like big jagged edges or anything there. So the grind work is pretty consistent and pretty pretty decent quality. Alright, let's take it off macro. And let's do our testing cuts now. Test cuts. Let's start with a piece of paper here. So the factory edge is perfectly good. Cuts right through paper without any issue and makes nice long strings. You may know that bread is one of the hardest things to cut with a straight edge knife. Usually with bread you like a good sharp serrated knife, but a nice sharp chef's knife will cut right through bread without compressing it at all. There's actually an air pocket right there. Let's go over to the other side. It's cutting right through it with minimal compression, so it passes my bread test. It would do even better if I sharpened it on a whetstone. That's going to be one of the next things I do with this knife. Now let's do some zucchini here and test the overall feel in the hand. So it feels pretty good. It does have a nice heavy feel to it. It's a heavy knife. I think once I put a whetstone edge on it, I think I'll be very impressed with it. My only concern is this little hook down at the bottom. You can actually see the light coming through down there at the bottom. So if you're cutting something really big and you need the full edge of the knife, you might come into an issue if you're getting down to the very end there. Ideally you want the entire back surface of the knife to be flat with the cutting board, and I'm just not seeing it there. So I got to take a star off for that. But the balance is pretty good. The balance is good. I think once I put a good edge on there, I think it'll be a good solid chef knife. I'd probably give it a 3.7 out of 5. Round that up to 4 out of 5. I'll go ahead and update this review in the video description if I find it to be any better or worse. But as it is, I would say it's worth the price. So if you're watching on Amazon, go ahead and hit yes for found this review helpful. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more great reviews.